Shalom, this is your Ark. Yah is magnified, coming back with another informative video. I titled this video, Persons are Creations of the State. But before I tackle this subject, as always, I must state for the record, I'm not a lawyer, I do not practice law, and I do not pretend to. All of my videos are for informational and educational purposes only. They're all facts and all truth, nothing more, nothing less. So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so as you all can see on the screen, this is a picture of my Bible that I read. I just want to share a few things with you out of this, for we all can have a better understanding of what's going on and how Satan has basically manipulated the whole world. You know, he had the whole world deceived, which the scripture said that he would do, and exactly what has been taking place to this day. So we're gonna pick this up in Genesis, which means Bereshit in Hebrew. So you see Bereshit in bold on the left hand side and Genesis on the right hand side, basically saying that Genesis is Bereshit in Hebrew. But let's continue. Let's pick this up in chapter 1, verse 26. It says, let me zoom in. It says, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Okay, so again, we are made in the Most High's image and in the Most High's likeness. Okay, so when we go into these courts, you stand in the image of the Most High, man. You have dominion. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. But let's continue. And let them rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds of, let's go to the second page. Alright, we're on page number 2. It says, over the birds of Shamayim, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the earth. And Elohim created man in his image. In the image of Elohim, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Okay, so now we see that Elohim created man in his image, and he took the rib from man to create his helpmeet, which is woman, who's also created in the image of Adam, who was created in the image of Elohim. Okay, so they are all still created in the images of Elohim, who is the creator of all. Okay, so now with that being said, that we got that out the way, we're going to go and read this powerful information, man. I want to share it with you all. So without further ado, let's go there so we can get better understanding. Let's see what Congress have to say about certain information that I've been telling you all, so we can see that everything I'm telling you all is truth. So let's go there. Okay, so now as you all can see on the screen, we're going to pick this up at the top where it says Appendix to the Congressional Globe. This was done back in February 1841. Okay, the 26th Congress had basically did a bankrupt bill. So we're going to go over this information, study it, you know, and get better understanding of what's going on, so we all can handle our affairs properly when we enter into these courts. Okay, and stop them from getting body attachment, you know, attaching your living body and soul to a legal fiction creation of the state. So let's pick this up at the top. We're going to pick it up right here. Let me zoom in some more. Sorry for the blurriness. I don't know why it's coming out so blurry. I'm going to try my best to read it even though it's blurry, so we can get better understanding of what's going on. Okay, it says, suppose the bankrupt law be made to action. To be made to act on that fiction. Would it be the sovereign state of Alabama under a commission of bankruptcy? No, but it would be the person of its creation, its legal fiction into bankruptcy. So again, if you have a regular man or woman who files for bankruptcy for his legal fiction, the same legal fiction that was created at birth, known as the legal person, the straw man, the ens legis, the estate, whatever you want to call it, you know, the trust, whatever you want to call it, it's, you know, we all know what it is. It's created the day you was born, on the day of your birth. Okay, basically it's just a paper you that they want you to believe that it's yours, but it's not yours. It can never be yours because it's a creation of the state and it belongs to the state. But let's continue. It says, would it put the sovereign state of Alabama under a commission of bankruptcy? No, but it will put the person of its creation, its legal fiction, into bankruptcy. So again, men and women cannot file bankruptcy, only fictions. but they need the man and the woman who holds full interest in all the property to act on the behalf of the fiction, the legal person, the straw man, whatever, the state's property. But let's continue. His friend from Arkansas, Mr. Severe, had made a strong argument upon this point, but was it pertinent? The state itself might become bankrupt, but the state was not placed within the jurisdiction of Congress. It was sovereign and not in any sense as such subject to the legislations of Congress. It was not to the state that this power was sought to extend or to be extended, but to the artificial creations of the state, to the persons which in a legal sense, and for business purposes, they assume to create and make material and practical agents in the transactions of the common affairs of the community. Okay, so now let's read that again so we get better understanding of what just was said. And let's pick it back up at the top where it says it. It says it was not to extend to states that this power was sought to be extended, but to the artificial creations of the state, to the persons which, in a legal sense. So again, persons only exist in a legal sense. Why? Because they are creations of the state. But why was they created? Let's continue reading. It says to the persons which in legal sense and for business purposes. That's the only reason why the legal person was created. For we can participate in this thing called commerce. Everything is underneath commercial law. The UCC codes. The UCC can help you free yourself as well. Okay? Get better understanding of what's going on so you can stand up for yourself. Protect yourself as a man. Okay? But let's continue. It says they assume to create and make material and practical agents in the transactions. So who are the agents for your all caps name? Obviously it's the fleshly man who does all bidding for that name. Okay, but let's continue. Or fleshly woman that does all bidding for that name. But let's continue. Of the common affairs of the community. The power of Congress to pass a bankrupt law reaching by its provisions and its actions the business and credit and contracts of every trading man in the country was not questioned, and were gentlemen prepared to contend with these artificial persons, which the state could create, were superior and entitled to exemptions and privileges not granted to free men, to the persons created by the great creator of all things. So again, you had a few free men before they signed up to be a 14th Amendment citizen was wondering how come all these corporations and everything are reaping all these benefits that they cannot partake in. That's because they was not underneath that 14th Amendment citizen at the time. But once they gave up their right to be free men and signed up to be a 14th Amendment citizen, they lost their lawful rights and gained legal privileges. You see? So that was the free man was arguing at the time. But the sovereign states was reaping all these benefits. For the simple fact of the matter is to get the people to want to sign up to be citizens, for they can participate and receive those benefits. You know, to basically giving up your God-given rights to become a corporate slave. But let's continue. The honorable senator to whose remarks he was more particularly replying, Mr. Clay of Alabama and Mr. Sevier of Arkansas, must believe that he had particular reasons at this time to feel kindly towards their respective states and to respect all their sovereign rights. Still, he could not rate them in creative power above the sovereign of the universe, basically stating that the senator himself said, okay, yes, the state have sovereignty, but they are not more powerful than the creator of all creations, which is the Most High, who is the one true sovereign. But since man is created in his image and in his likeness, the man too is completely sovereign. So the fictions cannot deal with man and man cannot deal with fiction. Paper to paper, flesh to flesh. So in order for man to play in the fiction world, he needed a game piece, which would be the legal person, or also known as the straw man, is ligas, the trust, estate, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. Okay, if the man chooses to play or if he don't, But they signed you up at birth, your parents at birth, to receive that game piece, which belongs to the state. It's not your game piece, like a monopoly. You can choose to play with the game piece, but we know the game piece belongs to Monopoly. It's a part of the game. That's it. Anything outside the game is worthless. Same thing with the legal person. Anything in the game, the legal person is good. But when it comes to dealing outside of that legal person realm, then it's no good at all. Okay? But let's continue. He could not concede to them or to the persons of their creations a superiority so vast and so inconsistent with his feelings as a man and his rights as a free man. The corporations existing by state authorities are mere legal existence. The corporations of the state, and are they superior in moral and legal privileges to the honorable senator who represents those states here. So he's basically saying that they're trying to make the man who is representing the state has more superiority over that man, even though the state needs that man to represent it, or it will not exist at all, which is crazy, completely nonsense. But let's continue. It says, and if this government is likely to exercise a power tyrannical and unjust over those honorable senators, is it less objectable than when exercised over those legal fictions of their respective states, over artificial persons which the state may create with attributes and powers not different in nature and character, however different in extent and compass? What are these corporations? Okay, so now they're asking the question, what are these corporations? Let's find out. They're nothing but business institutions. Okay, so your ens legis, your straw man, your legal person is nothing more than a business institution. But let's continue. It says nothing but a business institution, business person, like a free man, and so far from carrying any powers to the extent against them which it can be carried against either the senator or either the free man of their respective states. So again, whenever we gave up our free rights to be a free man, to become a 14th Amendment citizen, you are now underneath their control, and you are now becoming a legal person, which only exists on paper. Okay, but let's continue. It says, it was beyond the ingenuity of human powers to exercise coercion on a fiction. Now let's pick it up right here. It says, the property of the corporation may be taken, and also made the property of the natural man. So now what they're doing is comparing the property to the corporation, and they're also comparing the property of the natural man. Basically letting you know that there is something together that both the corporation and the man holds. But let's continue. But when his property is consumed, talking about the man, coercion may be exercised over his person. Who is the man's person? The all caps name, the legal fiction, the corporation, the fictitious business. Okay? So it's clearly letting you know that the man who holds full interest in the property belonging to the legal fiction, when they take the property belongs to the legal fiction, they're also taking what belongs to the man. Why? Because the man holds full interest in the property of the collateral, registered and unregistered, belonging to the fiction. Okay? That's all it's stating, and that's all it's telling you. And once the senator caught on, it basically blew his mind to how he even fell a victim to a scam that's bigger than him. But let's continue. So let's go back over it again. It says the property of the corporation may be taken, and also the property of the natural man. But when his property is consumed, coercion may be exercised over his person. The state of the honorable senator could do this to any extent, but when a power expressly granted to this government over the trade and credit and business of the country is called into exercise, are we to be told that the legal fiction of the states are to be exempt from its operation, while the creation of God, the natural person of the country, are expressly subject to it. He could not induce his mind to admit the preposterous idea in theory or to assent to it in practice. So again, the senator could not understand, like, okay, these same people who are naturally had a sovereign right to do whatever they wanted to do, signed up to become legal persons, or basically, yeah, legal persons, or signed up for legal benefits. They gave away their given rights to God-given rights to be free and live upon the land, to receive benefits from a corporation that then later on turned them into slaves. The senator himself could not fathom that that is actually has taken place. He didn't want to admit it, even though he's seen it. He could not come to his conclusion and find out that, man, we're all being got. So again, there are proper ways to handle yourself when conducting business, because everything is business, man. Handle your business when dealing with these corporations. Okay? You know that the legal fiction person is a creation of the state. If the legal fiction person is a creation of the state, it is property of the state, then the state owns it. You cannot own it. But you do have interest invested into that creation of the state. Okay? Everything belonging to you is actually in that title. Okay? If you're dealing with driving licenses, your home, everything you do, credit cards, mortgages, everything in that all caps name, you hold interest in. Because without you, it would not exist. Okay? But they got you to believing that you are the name, but you're not the name. So don't be deceived into believing that you are the name. So with that being said, I just want to go back over it one more time, where it states right here at the top line. It says the property of the corporation may be taken, and so may the property of the natural man. So when they go into these courts for child support, the first thing they do is call the corporation up, which is the all caps name, which is the legal person, the ens legis, whatever you want to call it again. And you go up there and say, I'm that name. They're going to take that property from that title, which you have full interest in, and now you're going down for that property, and they're going to take everything from you. Why? Because you agreed to give it to them. You didn't stand in your proper space and your proper time, and you didn't say what you're supposed to have said at the beginning to prevent them from taking and trying to coerce you. Like it says, they will coerce the natural man into giving up his proper personal property by threat, duress, and coercion. They will force you all to take it. They will do whatever they need to do to take your property. So that's what I'm going to do for today. If you all need my help, hit me up in my email at y'allismagnified@gmail.com. I just thank all my subscribers for watching. I'm going to have another video coming up. I'll probably put it up Monday. Another federal lawsuit from Charles' client. We all know who Charles is. I'm going to put Charles' client, another lawsuit up from one of Charles' clients, so we can see, why I continue to stress this fact for y'all to start at these federal courts. Okay, so I'm going to put that up probably Monday. It's going to be very informative as well, So again, if you all need my help, hit me up in my email at y'allismagnified@gmail.com. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification button so when my videos come through, you all will be notified. I'd like to thank all my subscribers for watching as always. With that being said, Shabbat Shalom to all my Hebrew brothers. Y'all be blessed, man. Enjoy y'all weekend. Shalom.